Welcome back to our channel, Valuable Coins Hub. These rare Lincoln penny coins make people rich. Let's find out why. Don't miss out one of these. Who know a single coin make you rich? Please write detailed and clear comments about a coin, covering any errors, unique features, minting mistakes, the date, and the coin's condition. This helps us reply clearly to your comments. The goal is to create easy to understand. Number 1. Today, we're unlocking the story behind a small copper-colored coin that packs a big historical punch. The 2009 Lincoln penny, specifically the professional life design. Now, you might have seen this coin and thought, it's just a penny, right? But not so fast. This little coin represents a monumental year in U.S. coin history and hides some surprises that could make it worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Let's travel back to 2009, a year that marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. To honor this milestone, the United States Mint released 4 unique reverse designs of the Lincoln cent, each one reflecting a different chapter of Lincoln's life. The third in that series is the professional life design, which shows Lincoln standing in front of the Illinois state capitol in Springfield, where he worked as a lawyer and legislator. It's a tribute to his growth, ambition, and the journey toward becoming one of the most iconic presidents in American history. But what makes this coin really fascinating isn't just the design. It's the details, the rarity, and the hidden errors that collectors are constantly searching for. Millions of these coins were minted, yes, but not all of them are created equal. Some were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, others at the Denver Mint, and there were also special collector-only versions made in proof and satin finishes. The real excitement comes when you find one in pristine condition, or even better, one with a mint error. Now let's talk about those juicy mint errors that can send the value of a Lincoln professional life penny soaring. Collectors have discovered examples with doubling in Lincoln's hands, the book he's holding, and even the columns of the Capitol building. These are called double die errors, and they're among the most sought-after mistakes in the coin world. There's also the possibility of off-center strikes, die cracks, or even a coin struck on the wrong planchet, which can turn a simple penny into a rare collector's item worth hundreds or more. Another key factor is the coin's condition. If your 2009 professional life penny is shiny, untouched, and graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, it becomes part of an elite group. Mint state coins with superb luster and strike are extremely rare, especially as most of these were released into circulation and picked up scratches, nicks, and wear. Collectors love these coins not just because of the potential value, but because each one tells a piece of the Lincoln story. Finding a high-grade example or a rare error is like holding history and mystery in the palm of your hand. And let's not forget, these coins are still relatively modern, so there's a good chance you might stumble upon one in your pocket change or coin jar. Now, if you're wondering just how much one of these 2009 Lincoln professional life pennies can be worth, listen closely. A regular circulated one might only be worth face value, but if you've got one in uncirculated condition or with a confirmed error, the story changes fast. Some high-grade examples have sold for over $100, while rare error coins in pristine condition have reached values up to $750 at auction. That's right, a simple 1-cent coin turning into serious cash. So, check your change, look closely, and if you find a 2009 Lincoln professional life cent, examine it carefully. You might just be holding a tiny piece of American history worth far more than you ever expected. Number 2, we're diving into a coin that many people overlook, but collectors know it could be worth more than you might think. We're talking about the 1985 Lincoln penny, the humble 1-cent coin that might be hiding in your change jar right now. And if you're lucky, it could be worth much more than just a cent now. At first glance, the 1985 penny looks like any ordinary coin. It features Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that's been in use since 1909. Flip it over and you'll find the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse, which was used from 1959 until 2008. But don't let the common appearance fool you. This coin has some surprises that make it especially interesting for collectors. In 1985, the United States Mint produced these pennies at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. The Philadelphia coins don't have a mint mark, while the Denver ones are marked with a small D under the date. Combined, billions of these coins were struck. So what makes some of them rare? The secret lies in the condition, the minting process, and something every collector loves: errors. Let's talk about those errors first. One of the most famous errors found on the 1985 penny is the double die obverse. This means that some coins were struck in such a way that the lettering, especially the words Liberty or In God We Trust, appear to have a shadow or doubling effect. These double dies are not only visually interesting, but they're also highly collectible and can command big premiums depending on the clarity of the doubling. Another error to watch for is the off-center strike, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting. If part of the design is missing or off to one side, that coin becomes a unique piece, especially if the date is still visible. Then there's the broad strike error, where the collar that holds the coin in place during minting fails, causing the coin to spread out wider than usual. And let's not forget about wrong planchet errors, where a penny might be struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, extremely rare, but incredibly valuable when found. Now, even if your 1985 penny doesn't have an error, condition still matters a lot. A penny that has been sitting in circulation for decades will show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, dullness. But a 1985 penny that was never used, never touched, and has full red luster? That's where things get exciting. Coins in mint state, especially those graded MS65 or higher, are much harder to come by than you might think. Most coins from this year were used and abused in everyday transactions. So if you happen to find one that still shines like it was made yesterday, it could be worth much more than a cent. Collectors are especially interested in coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. These services inspect the coin, grade it for quality, and seal it in a tamper-proof case. That gives buyers confidence and can significantly boost value. What's really fun is that the 1985 penny is still out there in circulation today. You might have one right now in your pocket or hidden in a jar at home. And while most of them are still worth just 1 cent, the right combination of mint error, high grade, and rarity can turn this common coin into a small fortune. Now here's the moment you've been waiting for, the real numbers. A regular 1985 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is generally worth just face value. But if you've got one in uncirculated red condition, it could be worth $10 to $25 depending on grade. A confirmed double die error can sell for $50 to over $100. And if you find a top-grade example graded MS67 red or higher, prices have reached up to $600 at auction. Yes, $600 for a penny. So the next time you're sorting through your change, don't skip past the 1985 Lincoln cent. Take a close look. You could be holding a piece of overlooked American history, and maybe even a tiny treasure. Number 3, we're unlocking the secrets of a small but powerful piece of American history, the 1970 Lincoln penny. You've probably seen this coin 100 times without realizing some versions are worth serious money. So if you've got a 1970 penny in your collection, or even in your pocket, listen closely, you might be holding a hidden gem. The 1970 Lincoln cent features the familiar design. Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. It was minted in both Philadelphia and San Francisco. Most people think every 1970 penny is the same, but that's where things get interesting. Some of these coins contain rare features, valuable varieties, and minting errors that make them extremely desirable to collectors. One of the most sought-after versions is the 1970 small date penny. At a glance, it looks like any other, but the difference is in the shape of the numbers in the date. On the small date, the 9 and 0 are more level with the 7, and the 7 has a sharper angle. It's subtle, but to collectors, it's everything. Even more exciting is the 1970 small date double die obverse. This rare error features strong doubling on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. The doubling is visible to the naked eye and dramatically boosts the coin's value. These are rare, but they do show up in collections and even rolls of old pennies. That's not all. Other errors like off-center strikes, die cracks, and coins struck on the wrong planchet also exist for the 1970 penny. These mint mistakes turn ordinary cents into rare finds. Combine an error with a high grade or a rare date variety, and the value can skyrocket. Now let's talk about condition. A circulated 1970 penny may not be worth more than face value. But uncirculated coins, especially those with their original red luster, are a different story. Coins graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC are much harder to find. If you have a proof version from the San Francisco Mint in pristine condition, the value only goes up. So how much are these coins really worth? A regular 1970 penny in circulated condition is worth about 1 cent. But a 1970s small date in mint state can be worth between $20 and $100. A proof version in perfect shape can sell for $50 to $200. And the rarest of them all, the 1970s small date double die obverse, has sold for as much as $3,000 at auction. Yes, $3,000 for a penny. So check your change, search your old coin jars, and look closely. That tiny copper coin from 1970 could be worth far more than you think. Number 4, we're talking about a coin that many people overlook, but serious collectors know it can hide some valuable surprises, the 1981 Lincoln penny. It may seem like just another copper coin, but what's hiding in the fine details can turn this everyday cent into a collectible treasure. The 1981 Lincoln cent carries the classic design we've all seen countless times. President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This design had been in use since 1959, and 1981 was one of the final years it was struck in 95% copper, just before the U.S. Mint switched to a cheaper zinc core in 1982. That alone gives the 1981 penny a special place in modern coin history. These coins were minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. While billions were produced, not all of them are common. Some versions, especially proof coins from San Francisco and coins with mint errors, are highly sought after by collectors. One of the most fascinating things about the 1981 penny is that it was part of a major transition year. The mint was preparing to change the way proof coins were made. There are actually 2 different types of proof coins from 1981, Type 1 and Type 2. The difference is in the S mint mark. Type 1 has a blurry, filled S, while Type 2 has a sharper, clearer S. Type 2 is much rarer and much more valuable. If you have a 1981 S-proof penny, look closely at the mint mark. It could make a huge difference in value. Now let's talk about errors. This is where things really get exciting. Some 1981 Lincoln pennies show double die errors, where parts of the design, usually the lettering in Liberty or In God We Trust, appear to have been struck twice. These errors are often visible to the naked eye and can greatly increase a coin's value. Other rare mint errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet. For example, a 1981 penny struck on a dime blank is a rare error that gets serious attention from collectors. Condition also plays a major role in value. A coin that's been through years of circulation might not be worth more than face value, but a 1981 penny in mint state, MS65 or higher, with its original red luster, becomes much more desirable. Add an error or a rare mint mark, and now you've got something truly special. Collectors love the 1981 penny not just for its design or errors, but because it marks the end of the copper era. After this, pennies would be made mostly of zinc, changing the weight, feel, and even the sound of the coin. So how much can these coins really be worth? Let's get into the numbers. A standard 1981 penny in circulated condition is generally worth only its face value. But an uncirculated example in brilliant red condition can sell for $10 to $30, depending on the grade. A 1981 S-type 2 proof penny, in perfect condition, has sold for up to $150. And a 1981 Lincoln penny with a dramatic mint error, such as a double die or a rare off-metal strike, can be worth $300 to over $600 at auction. That's right, 1 cent turning into hundreds of dollars, just by being in the right condition or having a rare variation. So don't overlook that 1981 penny sitting in your drawer. Examine it carefully. You might be holding a small piece of numismatic history that's worth far more than you think. Number 5 and last rare coin. We're digging into a coin that might be sitting quietly in your change jar or tucked away in an old drawer, but could actually be more valuable than you think. We're talking about the 1976 Lincoln penny, a simple 1-cent coin that holds secrets many people overlook. At first glance, the 1976 penny seems ordinary. It features Abraham Lincoln on the front, just like every Lincoln cent since 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. No flashy designs, no bicentennial markings like the quarter or half dollar. But don't let its plain appearance fool you. There's a lot more to this little coin than meets the eye. Produced during America's bicentennial year, the 1976 penny was struck at both the Philadelphia Mint, with no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, with a D below the date. While billions were produced, The true value of this coin lies in specific details: its condition, rarity, and especially minting errors that are hiding in plain sight. Let's start with condition. Most 1976 pennies went straight into circulation and have picked up scratches, discoloration, and wear over the years. But if you find one in mint state, especially a bright red example with full original luster, that coin instantly becomes more desirable. Collectors are always looking for sharp strikes and uncirculated pieces, especially those graded MS65 or higher by PCGS or NGC. But what really gets collectors excited are the rare errors and varieties found on some 1976 pennies. One major error to look out for is the doubled die, where parts of the design, such as Liberty or In God We Trust, appear to have been struck twice, creating a ghost-like shadow. This error is caused during the hubbing process at the mint and is highly collectible, especially when the doubling is clear and bold. There are also reports of off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and part of the coin is blank. The more dramatic the off-center error, and if the full date is still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Then there's the broad strike, where the collar that shapes the coin fails, causing it to spread out and appear wider than normal. Another rare and interesting error involves coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning a penny accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin blank. These are incredibly rare, and when authenticated, they can be worth hundreds. Even tiny die cracks, also known as cuds, can increase a coin's value, especially if they appear near the date or key lettering. These small imperfections make each error coin unique, and collectors love that. Now let's talk about why 1976 is important for Lincoln cents. This was one of the final years before the US Mint made subtle changes to die design and preparation, meaning older dies were wearing out and more prone to errors. That's why error coins from this year are out there and still being discovered. So how much is your 1976 penny really worth? A circulated one is worth face value, but an uncirculated red example in mint state can sell for $10 to $20, depending on the grade and mint mark. A 1976 penny with a clear double die error can be worth $75 to $150. Rare off-center errors, broad strikes, or wrong planchet examples have sold at auction for $300 to over $500, depending on condition and rarity. So check your change, search those old coin rolls, and take a closer look at your 1976 pennies. You never know when a common-looking coin could turn into an exciting and valuable discovery. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more rare coin finds. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting!